What's the address of your emergency? 950 West Peachtree Street. Somebody just got hit out here. There's a guy who just got hit by a car.
He literally killed me.
Oh, my God.
I was dead, literally dead.
Exhale up, inhale down.
For Vinny Lorendi,
How's your shoulder feeling? You think we can get your arms up above your head today?
strength isn't defined
Pull it straight back.
by the weights you pull or how fast you move. It's putting in the time every
Let it all out.
single
Deep breath, inhaling up.
day.
We got 25 seconds on the clock and time. Beautiful.
Vinny might as well live at the gym
Slow it down, Vinny.
as he learns to move again.
Good set.
He has a plate in his left arm. He had surgery on his trachea.
How long were you in bed for?
He was in a coma
2 months in bed.
for weeks.
You don't remember anything about the accident?
Nothing.
The active 31-year-old was walking through Midtown back in March when Atlanta police say he was struck by Jason Hardman. According to a police report obtained by CBS 46 Investigates, witnesses saw Hardman run a red light. Surveillance video shows what happened next.
He just T-boned me, and I hit his windshield, and then I went flying. Next thing I knew, I woke up 3 weeks later in the hospital.
Hardman was booked for driving drunk. An investigation found he was arrested only months earlier on similar charges. The report alleging he'd taken 6 medications, including Valium, before getting behind the wheel and crashing. The officer wrote he seemed unaware and uncaring the accident had occurred.
Sadly, what happened to Vinny is not all that uncommon.
Attorney Stephen Dermer says what's worse, Hardman was uninsured at the time of the crash.
He did not have any automobile insurance, and people like Vinny are left holding the bag.
We tried getting Hardman to talk to us. He referred me to his lawyer.
I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of my own money. I'll be lucky if I see a quarter.
CBS 46 Investigates has learned Hardman is active in his church. Staff members here say he sometimes teaches Sunday school. Online, he posts his coursework as he studies theology at Emory University. He even asked if anyone could help him land an internship at a Methodist church, writing, he's putting 2017 in God's hands.
He's a hypocrite. I mean, literally, he just is a hypocrite.
Vinny's message, start practicing what you preach.
Recovery is so expensive, even with insurance. And being the victim, I'm the one that has to pay.
As he waits for a trial date,
Atlanta's becoming a very walking city.
Vinny is changing the direction of his life.
So we need to find a way to make these streets safer.
Speaking out now on the dangers that can emerge from behind the wheel.
I used to say I want my old life back, but right now I'm realizing I want to be the best version of myself.
At the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium,
Hello, how y'all doing today? Hello, how you doing?
Walter Banks
Hey, good to see you. How you been?
draws as big of a crowd as the football players themselves.
Hey there, how you doing? Good to see you.
And at 78,
How long you been working with the Falcons?
don't expect that to change
Since day one,
Since day one?
anytime soon.
September the 11th, 1966 against the Los Angeles Rams.
For as long as the team has been around, there's never been life without Walter.
Do you consider yourself
Lucky.
the luckiest sports fan in Atlanta?
I do. I really do.
He's worked at 10 stadiums across the city dating back to the 60s, including all 3 with the Falcons.
So there's not a single stadium in Atlanta that you have not worked at?
Now that you think about it, I guess not.
In total, he'd guess he's worked some 7,000 games.
How many stadiums in Atlanta have you been there on opening day?
All of them.
Every single one. When the Georgia Dome opened and you walked inside for the first time, what was your first reaction?
Just about the same when I first walked in Atlanta Stadium. Something new, something fresh, something clean. Working at the Dome, and you get to know people. That's a part of it. You know, you have somebody to talk to. People know you. You get to know their families, and you see them around, and you make a lot of friends like that.
Sitting in his Southwest Atlanta home, pieces of his history, pieces of his team's history, and tucked away in the back corner, a flag from day one at the Georgia Dome.
All-time favorite memory, best thing that you ever saw at the Georgia Dome?
Every time the Falcons play.
Ironically, he never made it to the final game at the Dome last season. The stadium today, nothing but torn apart concrete. Didn't last very long, a little more than 2 decades dotting the city skyline.
If you had a crystal ball and you could look into the future, is there another stadium groundbreaking day one that you're going to be at here in Atlanta?
I would like to be. See, if you're a part of Atlanta enough, you do that enough, you're a part of Atlanta enough, Atlanta be a part of you. How you doing today? Good to see you. You're a good friend.
I love you, Walter.
Thank you so much. If I don't see you, happy Thanksgiving.
These are the quiet moments at Clara Harrington's home. And this is where she and her husband would share the not-so-quiet ones.
This is Jimmy. That's not what he looked like on game day, but that's a pretty good photo.
Clara can still hear her husband cheering. She could still remember their first game together at the Georgia Dome.
It was August 23rd, 1992, and I remember that because it was my husband's birthday.
Season ticket holders from day one. Section 214. She's not yet ready for the stadium to go.
I mean, it was built the same year this house was.
She has a lot of memories there.
It was still good.
A lot.
But, you know, the memories are here. They're not in a building. This one's really cool. This is all the signatures of the 1966 Falcons.
The family's never known Sundays without football. They're only now getting used to Sundays without Jimmy. He died in December 2014 from a rare cancer.
They said he had 2 to 4 years, and he lived almost 10, so we felt pretty fortunate. It kind of worked out, and chemo and radiation and surgery all were kind of done off-season. Just worked out that way. So he would still go to games.
He went to as many games as he could. Until one day, he just couldn't anymore.
The Dome is such a special place. I've got a lot of memories there.
Yeah, I love the Dome. That's like the place I love to watch football the most. It's going to be pretty sad seeing it go, for sure.
These are Jimmy's 2 sons. John graduated high school last year. His ceremony happened to be at the Dome. He thought Dad would want to be with him on the field, so he was.
I put a little envelope in my sock. Then when I was sitting out and they were just calling names, I just dumped it a little bit. That was it. It was nice.
The team only weeks later started winning like never before.
There was a couple plays on the 20-yard line where I kind of was like, well, that might have been him.
The Falcons' final season under the Dome.
I'm a believer. I really am.
A few games in, a family member grabbed a marker, and behind the seats they've shared for decades, a friend wrote 2 simple words on the concrete wall. Hey, Jimmy.
It started with he wrote "Hey Jimmy" on the wall, and then as more people go throughout the weeks into the playoffs that season, just more and more people would all sign their names, so it kind of became a big collaboration.
So fitting. Nothing fancy, just kind of cool and just kind of happened. I think that was just kind of the way he lived his life.
Soon, the number of messages grew. Love you, Dad. Miss you.
Just made me feel like he was really loved and everybody really missed him.
And Atlanta finished its final game here with a trip to the Super Bowl.
And when we beat Green Bay to go to the Super Bowl, we were just like, that's not a coincidence.
She thought it would be the last time she'd ever see the wall. But what Clara didn't know, we went looking for Jimmy's wall amid the debris. We not only found it, we asked construction crews to cut it out, and they did. This ended up being the final play ever at the Georgia Dome.
We found the piece.
No kidding.
And we're going to present it to you.
Oh my gosh.
A moment for this family better than any championship.
It's just so special. And it means so much that so many people wanted to be involved in it.
Clara always had a lot of memories here.
And then we made the playoffs, and then everybody wanted in.
A lot.
This is the guy that started it all right here. That one day. Wow. That is so amazing.
That iconic Star Wars theme song, music to the ears of mega fans all across Atlanta.
I think the films are just so relatable and so universally accepted.
I initially didn't start collecting until about 83, 84.
These are really, really valuable. These are the ones that get up into thousands of dollars.
Robert Bean
I have been collecting since 1977.
is known across the metro for his love of everything Darth Vader.
I like Vader because he didn't put up with anything out of anybody.
Yes, that's him in head-to-toe armor at a recent convention. And to his left in costume, a key figure in this new Star Wars saga, Carl Cunningham.
Carl is kind of behind the scenes, does DVD reviews.
The two have been friends for decades. They even took a recent trip together to the coveted Skywalker Ranch. But the Marietta native is now facing felony theft charges.
We're here in Northern California.
Cunningham's accused of stealing $200,000 in memorabilia from the world's largest known Star Wars collection.
We estimate we have about 400,000 separate pieces.
Stephen Sansweet runs the California warehouse known as Rancho Obi-Wan. To collectors, this is their everything. But deputies out west say Cunningham ransacked the place, then sold some stolen goods for profit.
When we initially found out about the theft, it was really devastating.
Cunningham is now out on $25,000 bond.
That made me sick. I mean, especially knowing all the people involved.
We tried getting in touch with him by phone. We're still waiting on a call back.
Carl Cunningham is not available.
Carl is a really, really nice guy. I mean, you would never think anything like this would happen, that Carl would do anything like this.
The alleged crime, like a disturbance in the force for fans. This one has really galvanized the entire community. Star Wars collectors are now banding together. They're working to try and track down the stolen memorabilia. After all, it might be their only hope to getting it back.
I think it puts everybody on alert.
Tucked away in the basement of this home in Athens.
Let's see.
Stored in boxes.
This is probably the most useless Star Wars figure.
Stacked in rows and lining the walls. Jeremy Reeves has more Star Wars figures than he can even count.
I don't even want to think about that one, to be honest with you.
His collection is so big, he calls it his museum.
The joke amongst my friends is that Toys R Us always stop here first before going.
And he's giving us an inside look.
I have probably some of my most valuable figures.
At just how valuable these little pieces of plastic really are.
This is what I like to call the Holy Grail. That is the vinyl Cape Jawa.
This guy right here.
That guy right there. In the package, he's worth $10,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So is it okay that I'm touching this?
Yeah, yep.
The YouTube channel has about 330,000 subscribers.
Gwynette's Alex Damon hosts a Star Wars show that's reached close to 67 million viewers.
This was about $800.
He, too, is a collector and knows the outrage all fans are feeling.
From what I can tell, people are surprised and upset.
Even the actors are speaking out. Peter Mayhew, Chewbacca himself, writing on Twitter, "This is despicable." Luke Skywalker's Mark Hamill with the hashtag, "The fraud is strong" in this one. This one has simply hit the wrong notes for so many. A real-life example of good versus bad. In Atlanta, I'm Adam Harding, CBS 46 News.
Making me a 911. What is your emergency?
This is the call for help.
It's a girl on live on Facebook, has a bag over her head, is inside the tub, is trying to commit suicide or something.
In the past month in this city of Macon.
Yes, she's at her home or somewhere, and these people watching her live video is going up. Is at 35 now.
The haunting reality for one mother.
Why didn't I see the signs?
Whose identity we're protecting.
My greatest fear is for me to bury any of my children before me.
Her 15-year-old daughter live streaming on Facebook her attempted suicide. The report from police: she took a lot of pills, put a plastic bag over her head, then hit record online.
She felt like she didn't have any friends. She was like, everybody picked on her. Everybody wanted to fight her. It was one thing after another.
This is my passion.
She survived after Captain Shermaine Jones and his team of deputies scoured the city, searching for the home where the teen was live streaming from.
Lucky for us at that point, the people that
recognized who she was and was called and was given address that they knew of. So once they started that process, we just started sending deputies to different addresses trying to figure out which one is the exact address. So
Jones says the teen stayed online for nearly an hour.
Time is precious at that point. She was in a pretty critical condition. Thank the Lord we were able to find her when we did.
It's a difficult conversation the Georgia Bureau of Investigation is now asking we all have.
It's never too soon to talk about suicide.
Special Agent Trebor Randall's focus is on child deaths.
Suicide is the second leading cause of death for kids ages 15 to 17.
And the GBI's latest numbers, child suicides across Georgia appear to be on the rise, with an all-time high of 51 in 2015.
And there's no one particular reason why. We no longer call it teen suicide awareness because our children as young as 8, 9, and 10 are committing suicide now.
This year alone, 18 kids have taken their own lives, 14 in the last 2 months.
Until they drive you to kill yourself.
The topic gaining national attention with the recent TV series 13 Reasons Why, a show documenting the events leading up to a teen suicide. It's prompted some metro school districts to send warning letters to parents urging students to not watch it alone.
Hell was crying out for help.
The GBI says they have no data linking any recent youth suicide to the show.
This is a conversation that definitely needs to be had.
This year, agents are now partnering with teachers to let them know it's okay to talk about this.
How else do you make the community aware of why our children are dying if you're not talking about it?
And on these city streets,
A lot of people don't want to talk about it. I do.
one family is already beginning the dialogue.
This is nothing that we can run from. It can happen to anyone.
Netflix, we should mention, told me that they'll be changing how they warn their viewers about that show 13 Reasons Why. They hope it creates a conversation. If you or someone you know needs help, you can call 1-800-273-8255. We have put resources on our website, cbs46.com, and in the next 20 minutes or so, we'll be doing a live Facebook conversation. I'm Adam Harding, CBS 46 News.